friends, let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to invite the chime to sing, and then we'll set the intention for our practice today. On Wednesdays, we explore the book by Roshi Joan Halifax called Standing at the Edge. Today, we're bringing in a new chapter called The Six Paramitas. These are qualities that we can cultivate. These are the qualities of compassion. We have been for weeks now exploring the quality of compassion. We talked about having universal compassion. And these are some additional qualities that really serve as a foundation for the growth and nurturance of that compassionate heart. All righty, friends. This is a beautiful card, a sentiment of metta, loving kindness, made by Lo. This one reads, "May you live with heart in every step. May you live with heart in every step." All right, so let's just gather in together. Let's just take some deep breaths collectively together. Let's really step into the spirit of mindfulness, which is sati, present time awareness, right now. Take a moment to notice the body. Notice if you have any tension anywhere. You don't have to fix anything or do anything. Noticing and observing. Let's call that good enough today. Notice if you hurried to get to this meeting, if you're nervous about being in this meeting, maybe your heart is racing a little bit. Maybe you're in maybe your nervous system is engaged in a state of flight. Perhaps bringing your awareness, your present time awareness to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out enables the body to enjoy a little more oxygen, a slower pace, more spaciousness for observation. Maybe you've got some thoughts swirling around. Maybe you had an interaction today, a really good interaction. Maybe you heard from a spirit guide that you're about to win $1 million from the lottery. You could donate that to Soul Center or to Recovery Dharma. Wouldn't that be grand? Yeah, that was a little a wrench I threw into that fantasy. So maybe this is an opportunity to look at those thoughts. Look at those stories. Maybe see if we can put them down for a moment and just be here and receive the goodness of this practice, the goodness of being together, the amazing awareness that each of us here today has prioritized this time for ourselves, for healing, for growth, for learning, for the cultivation of resilience and presence. There are billions of people on the planet. Today we are gathered in the company of less than 50 with this level of devotion and dedication. It is amazing. Thank you, each and every one of you. I'm so grateful for the generosity of your presence here. It is utterly inspiring. Today, we're going to receive the wisdom of Roshi Joan Halifax and her book, Standing at the Edge. And we're going to begin a weeks-long conversation on something in Buddhism called the 6 paramitas. And these, again, are qualities that we can cultivate that are like little bedrocks supporting a compassionate approach to life. Compassion for yourself. Compassion for other people, plants, animals, the earth, what's happening in the cosmos. Compassion in limitless, infinite direction. The 6 paramitas are generosity, discipline, patience, diligence or wholeheartedness, concentration, and wisdom. Obviously, there is no order to this. These qualities, we flow in and out of them, and they're interconnected. So the more generous we become, the greater our access to concentration, wholeheartedness, patience, wisdom, discipline. Roshi reminds us that we want to cultivate and consider these qualities, especially when things are going well, when there's a degree of ease. This is why bringing them forward in a meditation practice is such a brilliant idea, because right now each and every one of us is safe. We're in community. There's nothing really pulling on our attention right now. We have carved this time, we've prioritized this time to consider these qualities. Now, when we go out into life and life turns upside down and we have some upheaval, some stressor, we have this practice to come back to and to apply it. And like magic, like a miracle truly, that upheaval is different, that stressor is less. Our capacity to handle it is so much greater. We feel more mature, we feel more present, and lo and behold, what a reinforcer to keep at it. We are all that amazing. You are that amazing. But don't take my word for it. This is what Roshi says. The word paramita can be translated as perfection or crossing over to the other shore, meaning the shore that is free of suffering. The paramitas are both the path to becoming a bodhisattva and the realizations of the path. As a path, the paramitas are the practice of enlightened qualities of our character. As realizations, they are gifts of the practice. The paramitas, the practice of generosity, for example, is a way to live your life. And it's also a way to receive the goodness that's connected to it. The more generous you are, the more you receive generosity. The more wholehearted you are in your life, the more wholesome life becomes. It's very logical, actually. But we have to practice this because being human means we all have the capacity to be extraordinarily generous and incredibly stingy too. We all have abundance and scarcity mindsets, so we practice. The first perfection, Roshi writes, is generosity. This is about giving compassionate support, protection, teachings, and attention to those who need it. As philosopher Simone Weil said, attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Then there's serving food to the homeless person in the shelter, sitting with a dying person who's been abandoned by her family, protecting the victim of spousal abuse, inviting into our home the refugee looking for a place to land. This is also being with our loved ones, friends, co-workers, especially when we're giving them space to make their own decisions. Generosity is giving people space to make their own decisions. Generosity is also expressed in sharing the treasure of spiritual teachings with others. Roshi writes, my teacher, Bernie Glassman, in spite of a recent stroke that left half his body paralyzed, flew to Poland, to Auschwitz, bearing witness retreat in 2016. Bernie brings others to bear witness in Auschwitz as part of his compassionate commitment to transforming alienation and hatred so that another Holocaust does not consume our planet. He believes that by bearing witness in Auschwitz and other places of unspeakable horror, we can remember who we really are and remember to love. Along with love, there is another expression of the perfection of generosity, though it does not appear in the traditional texts. This came to me many years ago when I was first during service in Nepal. Being at altitude in the wilds of the Himalayas, I felt very vulnerable. As I sat with patients from remote villages we were serving, I realized I had better get grounded. The notion of giving no fear came up for me. This was the practice I needed to engage when serving our patients in high mountains. Give no fear. It's a place from which we can bear witness to the pain and suffering of this world and connect with others without attachment to self, other, or outcome. It's a way of perceiving who we really are, of knowing that we are made of love, courage, and great compassion. It's a way of seeing past fear into the vast landscape of the infinite human heart. The invitation for this practice this week, as you think about generosity, bring generosity into your mind, into your practice, into your actions. And my encouragement for you is catch yourself if you're judging your generosity as being too small or maybe too great when you're looking for attention or reward. Or maybe your generosity is so great that you've overextended yourself. You've gone over the edge. Or maybe you're being a little stingy with your generosity. These are wonderful places of curiosity. Would you look at that? Look at me holding back a compliment. Look at me comparing my generosity with this person's generosity. Wonder what that's all about. And the judgment piece is all about allowing yourself to be exactly as you are. Sometimes we're stingy in our generosity. Okay. Sometimes we go over the edge and we extend ourselves. Yep. Sometimes we do a good deed and no one's looking, and our inner toddler's like, hey, hey, why is nobody noticing? Pay attention to me, peeps. Okay, that's pretty human. And then come back and anchor with compassion. What are we putting out into the world and why? And can we simply offer our generosity with a soft, open heart? How about we not treat our generosity as right or wrong? How about we simply observe it as it is and go from there? It is a practice. It is a quality to cultivate. It is a seed to nurture and to water. And I don't know about you, but there's nothing more inspiring to me than watching the magnificent seeds grow. May the seed of generosity grow in you as only you can grow it. And may you settle somewhere in your mind that that alone is a perfection. Let's go ahead, friends, and end our practice with a dedication of merit. I love the dedication of merit. I love to take this moment to take stock. I did something good for myself today. I practiced. It doesn't matter if I was barely there in the meditation. You know, my mind was doing a grocery list or was distracted by the noise outside or whatever. I showed up here, carved an hour of my day, really more because it takes time to get here. I've made something outside of myself a priority, and that is healing and good. And by extension, we bring that out into the world. So we dedicate that effort, we dedicate that positive action as sort of like ripples in a still pond. May those ripples, may the generosity of this merit ripple out into the world, touch people who have no idea about what mindfulness is. Breath work, breathing, insight, what? To anybody who is in jail today or in prison, to anybody who is in a psychiatric hospital or hold, to anybody who's in the hospital and having surgery or recovering from something, to all of our friends and loved ones out there who are unhoused and lost, to our friends and loved ones and community members who are isolating, not able to sustain abstinence, to anybody who's seeking sobriety, who's seeking to have liberation from any degree of suffering from habit energy, we dedicate this practice. May all beings everywhere know love. May all beings everywhere awaken to the idea that the universe is holding us all, delighting in our lives and presence, and encouraging us to keep going. We'll see you next time, friends. Namaste.
Namaste.